The station had been quiet all day, the kind of quiet that pressed against the mind until every sound felt loud. Lieutenant Alex Mercer paced along the observation deck, his boots echoing softly on the metal floor. Outside, the twin moons hung low in the sky, casting pale light over the jagged cliffs and the glowing alien sea that stretched to the horizon. This planet was beautiful, in a way that felt dangerous. Its colors and shapes were alive, almost aware of him. He had learned to keep his eyes on the instruments and his mind sharp, but even now, he couldn't shake the feeling that someone, or something, was watching him. He leaned on the railing, scanning the horizon. The wind carried a strange tang like ozone mixed with salt. The waves below glowed softly, and Alex wondered if this was why the scientists had chosen this site. There was energy here, some kind of resonance the alien sensors had detected weeks ago, but nothing had happened. Until tonight. It started as a shimmer, faint and wavering, near the cliffs across the bay. At first he thought it was a reflection, or maybe a trick of the light. But the shimmer grew, and soon it solidified into the shape of a figure. She appeared as though she had stepped out of the moonlight itself. Her form was humanoid, but her skin shimmered faintly, like liquid glass catching the glow of the moons. Her eyes were wide and unafraid, and she smiled. Alex froze. The figure didn't speak, yet Alex felt a presence, a calm insistence. His training kicked in, and he reached for his scanner. The instruments whirred and beeped, but nothing matched her signature. No known life form, no atmospheric anomaly, nothing. She was different, otherworldly. He took a cautious step forward. "Hello?" he called, though his voice sounded small in the vast night. The figure didn't move toward him, but didn't retreat either. Then, almost imperceptibly, she raised a hand. In his mind, images flashed, fast, bright, incomprehensible at first. A city of towering crystal spires, a sky filled with storms of light, and a planet on fire. Fear, urgency, and a silent plea filled his mind in a rush. She needed help. Alex's heart raced. He had trained for first contact scenarios, but nothing in the manuals had prepared him for this. He raised a communicator. "This is Lieutenant Mercer at Station Echo 7. I'm observing an unknown life form. Request guidance." There was no reply, just the static hiss of the long-distance comm. He was alone. The figure stepped closer to the edge of the cliffs, her gaze never leaving him. She was fragile, but the energy around her was undeniable. Alex realized that if she fell, she might be lost forever. He needed to act. Using his portable scanner, he measured her energy output. She was stable for now, but prolonged exposure to the planet's atmosphere could be fatal. Alex grabbed the climbing kit stored near the observation deck and sprinted down the service ramps, past the research modules and toward the cliffs. Every step brought him closer to the unknown, yet curiosity outweighed caution. He reached the edge of the cliffs and saw her more clearly. The shimmer in her skin pulsed gently as if syncing with some hidden rhythm. Her smile remained calm and welcoming, not a hint of hostility. Alex spoke again, this time softly. "I can help you. Come closer, slowly." "I won't hurt you." For a moment, nothing happened. Then she tilted her head and, without hesitation, floated a few inches off the ground toward him. Alex blinked. Floating. She wasn't bound by the planet's gravity, and he realized she wasn't just alien in appearance. She was alien in nature. His mind raced with possibilities, but he pushed them aside. He needed to get her to safety. He carefully extended a hand. "Take my hand." She paused, then lightly touched his palm. A jolt ran through him, not painful but strange, like an electric whisper. Images filled his mind again. Flashes of her planet's destruction, of cities crumbling, of creatures fleeing impossible storms. Her people were in danger, and somehow she had chosen him to help. Alex's training told him to contain the situation, to call for backup, to wait for orders. But his instincts, human instincts, took over. He helped guide her toward the temporary shelter module near the station. She floated effortlessly beside him, her presence calming yet intense. The air around them seemed to hum. Inside the shelter, Alex activated the environmental stabilizers. He scanned her with every tool he had: bioreaders, energy spectrometers, atmospheric analyzers. Her readings were unlike anything he had ever seen. Her body didn't breathe like his, didn't consume oxygen in a conventional way. She absorbed energy directly from her surroundings. But the planet's environment was too harsh for her to survive long. He had to act fast. He worked quickly, improvising a containment field using the station's emergency energy cells. The field would maintain a stable environment for her while keeping her safe from predators and the planet's unstable energies. She watched him silently, occasionally reaching out to touch a console or a screen. Every time she did, subtle changes occurred. The readings shifted, almost as if she was interacting with the technology directly. Hours passed, and the station hummed with life again. Alex took a brief moment to sit, exhausted but exhilarated. She remained near him, her gaze steady and curious. For the first time, he felt a connection that transcended language. Humans had always relied on tools, on ingenuity, on courage in the face of unknown dangers. And now, here was proof that human ingenuity could meet the impossible. Suddenly, a low rumble shook the shelter. Alex jumped to his feet. Outside, the cliffs trembled and glowing shapes moved through the fog, predators drawn to the energy signature of the alien visitor. They were fast, dangerous, and clearly not native to the planet. Alex knew they had to defend the shelter, but the station's weapons were limited. Improvisation would be the key. He grabbed spare conduits and energy projectors, setting them around the perimeter. The glowing creatures circled the cliffs, sniffing the air, testing the boundaries of the field. Alex adjusted the frequencies, hoping his calculations would be enough. The creatures charged, and a wave of energy from the projectors repelled them, forcing them back into the fog. One leapt toward the barrier, and Alex triggered an emergency pulse, sending it tumbling into the chasm below. Breathing hard, he turned to see the alien visitor. She extended a hand, and he instinctively took it. The energy that had passed between them earlier surged again, but stronger, almost like a bridge forming between their minds. He glimpsed visions of her homeworld once more. Cities aflame, people fleeing, storms raging across continents. She needed help, and humanity might be the only force capable of offering it. The night stretched on, but Alex never wavered. He reinforced the shelter, monitored the energy readings, and kept the alien safe. In the quiet moments, she floated near him, her presence serene. He realized that humanity was being tested, not just by survival, but by courage, empathy, and ingenuity. He understood that the future of both their species could depend on the choices he made tonight. By the first light of the alien dawn, the predators had retreated, and the shelter stood intact. Alex knew this was only the beginning. The alien had come seeking aid, and he had shown that humans were capable of facing the unknown with cleverness and bravery. Together, they had survived the first night. The challenge ahead would be greater, but for now they had each other, and the first spark of trust had been ignited. Alex stepped to the observation deck once more, watching her silhouette against the glowing cliffs. The alien smiled at him, as if acknowledging that humanity could rise to the occasion. He felt a quiet pride, not for himself alone, but for the species he represented. Humanity had faced impossible odds before and survived, and now, on this distant world, they had a chance to do it again, for another species and perhaps for themselves. As the twin moons dipped below the horizon, Alex knew he would not rest. The alien visitor had come seeking aid, and he would not fail her. Somewhere out there, a storm was gathering, threatening her world and possibly others, but he had faith in human resilience, in ingenuity, and in courage. Whatever came next, he was ready. And for the first time, Alex felt that humanity was not just surviving the stars, they were rising to meet them. The sun never truly rose on this planet, at least not the way Alex remembered from Earth. Instead, the sky shifted in shades of violet and silver, bathing the cliffs and the glowing sea in an otherworldly light. The alien visitor floated beside him as he surveyed the horizon, her presence calm but alert. The night had passed, but the challenges were far from over. He could feel it in the tremor of the cliffs, beneath their feet, and in the distant hum of energy resonating from the alien sea. Alex had spent hours reinforcing the shelter and upgrading the energy projectors to better repel predators. Each adjustment required ingenuity, quick thinking, and courage. Human ingenuity had always turned disadvantages into opportunities, and now it was their only hope of survival. The alien watched him silently, occasionally touching the consoles or energy cells, her gestures causing subtle fluctuations in the readings. It was as if she could communicate through technology itself. "Can you understand me?" Alex asked softly, not expecting a direct answer. Instead, images filled his mind. A planet scarred by storms of fire and lightning, cities crumbling beneath invisible forces, people fleeing for survival. The visions were not chaotic but precise, urgent, and full of emotion. She needed help, and humanity might be the only ally capable of giving it. Alex knew the risks. They were far from any human colony. Supplies were limited, and the predators outside the cliffs could strike again at any moment. But he also knew that human courage was not measured by the absence of fear, but by the willingness to act despite it. He would protect her, find a solution, and rise to the challenge, just as humans had done countless times across history. He spent the next hours working tirelessly, modifying energy conduits and stabilizers. Each adjustment brought the shelter closer to a safe, sustainable environment for her. She floated beside him, watching intently, occasionally extending her hand toward the equipment. When she did, the energy reading shifted in ways he couldn't predict, but always for the better. She was teaching him without words, a silent collaboration that relied on trust, observation, and instinct. A low vibration echoed through the cliffs, pulling Alex's attention. The predators had returned, and this time they were more aggressive. Larger shapes moved through the mist, their glowing eyes scanning the terrain. He could see their movements, predict their charges, and quickly adjust the projectors. The energy fields flared, repelling the creatures again, but one broke through, skidding toward the shelter. Alex grabbed a handheld pulse emitter and fired. The creature froze, convulsed, then retreated, leaving behind only a faint shimmer in the mist. The alien visitor extended a hand, her energy touching his arm lightly. Images of coordinated attacks and defense strategies filled his mind, showing him ways to anticipate the predators. Together, human ingenuity and alien intuition created a defense that no single species could have achieved alone. As the day progressed, Alex realized the aliens' presence had another effect. The planet itself seemed less hostile, as if her energy stabilized the cliffs and the glowing sea. Small tremors ceased and the ambient light seemed calmer. It was subtle but noticeable. He began to understand that her species had a connection to planetary energy, a harmony that humans could learn from but never replicate. He worked through the alien dawn, reinforcing the shelter, recalibrating the energy projectors, and monitoring the creatures. Each task was exhausting, but he felt a sense of purpose he had never experienced before. Humanity was known for facing impossible odds with cleverness, courage, and resourcefulness. Tonight, he was living that truth. As evening approached again, the alien communicated more clearly through images in his mind. He saw her world again, this time with more detail. Cities in chaos, people seeking refuge, storms of energy spreading across continents. She was not merely seeking shelter. She was scouting, looking for allies who could help her civilization survive. Humanity had passed the first test, proving courage and ingenuity, but the real challenge lay ahead, assisting her people directly. Alex realized the urgency. If they delayed, her planet and perhaps her species could be destroyed. He needed to find a way to transport her safely, or at least send critical information back. The station's communication arrays were limited, but with some modifications he could amplify the signals using the planet's natural energy resonance. It would be risky, but humans had always thrived in risky situations. He set to work, combining human technology and the aliens' intuitive guidance. They worked silently side by side, their movements synchronized without conversation. She pointed at certain energy nodes and he adjusted the circuits accordingly. When she hovered near the resonance coils, he felt the energy pulse, stronger and steadier than before. They were creating a bridge, a signal that could reach her world across the vast distance of space. Hours passed, and exhaustion weighed heavily on him. Yet Alex refused to stop. Humans had survived countless disasters, from natural catastrophes to wars, by using ingenuity and courage. He would not fail now. He had learned that courage was contagious, and with her presence guiding him, he felt capable of achieving the impossible. Finally, the bridge was ready. Alex activated the modified communication array, and a pulse of energy shot into the sky, carrying the aliens' data across the stars. The array glowed, resonating with the planet's energy, and for a moment the cliffs and the glowing sea seemed to come alive. He could feel the energy shifting, the storm on her world being mitigated by their combined effort. Then the response came. Images of her planet stabilized, cities no longer collapsing, storms easing. Her people were safe, at least for now. Relief washed over Alex, but he knew this was only the beginning. The alien smiled at him, projecting gratitude, trust, and an unspoken promise. Humanity had proven itself worthy. The predators outside retreated, sensing the change in energy, and the cliffs were quiet once more. Alex finally allowed himself to sit, exhausted but exhilarated. He looked at the alien visitor who floated gently beside him, her eyes reflecting the twin moons. She had come seeking aid, and together they had overcome the first trial. Human ingenuity, bravery, and empathy had met the impossible, and for the first time, Alex understood that humans could rise to challenges that spanned not just their world, but the stars themselves. As night fell again, he felt a connection not of words or shared culture, but of purpose. Humanity had faced the unknown and proved itself capable. The alien had tested him, tested humanity, and the results were undeniable. They had survived, adapted, and achieved what seemed impossible. The alien extended a hand toward him, and he took it instinctively. Energy flowed between them, a silent acknowledgement of mutual respect and accomplishment. Alex knew she would not remain long. Her mission was beyond this planet, but the trust they had built would endure. Humanity had shown it could face the unknown with courage, intelligence, and heart. As she drifted back toward the cliffs, preparing to depart, Alex felt a quiet pride. He was a representative of a species that had always reached for the stars, that had always faced challenges larger than itself, and had always risen to meet them. He had seen the future, and it was bright, not just for humanity, but for the universe that humans were ready to explore and protect. The alien paused at the edge of the cliffs, turning to him one last time. In her eyes he saw understanding, respect, and hope. Then in a shimmer of light she vanished, leaving only a faint glow where she had stood. The night sky seemed still, yet somehow fuller, as if acknowledging the presence of courage, ingenuity, and the human spirit. Alex stood alone on the observation deck, gazing at the stars. He knew this was only the beginning. Somewhere out there her people were safe because humans had acted. Somewhere another challenge awaited, and humanity would rise to meet it. He had proven that courage, empathy, and intelligence could achieve the impossible, and he would carry that lesson forward, ready for whatever the universe sent next. For the first time in his life, Alex felt the full weight of human potential. It was immense, boundless, and beautiful. And somewhere in the cosmos, a species that had once faced destruction now had hope, thanks to humans. As the twin moons faded behind the horizon, Alex took a deep breath. The station was quiet again, the cliffs calm, and the glowing sea reflected the stars above. Humanity had passed its first test in this distant corner of the universe, proving that no matter how alien the challenge, human ingenuity and courage could rise to meet it. And in the darkness, he felt certain that this was just the beginning of something far greater.